Welcome back to the Crochet Corrado. So, my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we are going to do the Crochet with Love pocket shawl. This is a really easy project to be able to manipulate, and you can have some fun with it. You can customize as well. You can customize in the width of this by just chaining in an even number. So we start off with the pockets by chaining 30. The shawl is chaining 50, so if you would like it to be even wider you could go 60 as long as it's an even number. So that's really neat. You can also stop when it's the ideal length for you. So the pockets can be sewn on to any part of the position. So if you made it too long, you can move the pockets up just like you see. If you need it longer in order to adjust for your body height and stuff, you can just make this whole shawl lower and then position your pockets where you're most comfortable. So it's kind of a neat idea, and let me show you some sample work first. So here is the actual size of the width of this shawl without the edging. So the edging has not been applied, and I did this piece so that I could apply the edging with you on camera. So this side here has the Alpine stitch. It's nice and textured as you can see. The other side is flat. This here is the pocket. The pocket was 10 inches tall. Again, the Alpine stitch. I used Caron Cakes as my version, so you see that it changed midway through. If that bothers you, then you can manipulate your colors to be more strategic. The yarn is calling for Red Heart with Love stripes, so you see the beautiful striping effect that is on there. So it changes color a lot quicker than the Caron Cakes does. So this is a really neat example, and again the back side just stays flat. The diagram is on page number 2. Really quite simple. I know this is the ripple stitch. It's called the Alpine stitch. Sometimes stitches change over time depending on also who comes up with their books and what they name them as well. So we're gonna get ourselves started, and it's a really easy pattern to be able to manipulate. So we have the repeat rows of 3 through 6, and so once we get started, then these Alpine stitches that come down, which is basically a front post double crochet, they just change position. So it's here and then it's here and then here and etc. So let's begin. Let's do a small swatch with you here on camera, and the pockets and the actual shawl body itself is the same thing. So you just have to change the numbers in order to make it work. So for the shawl you'll chain 50, and then for the pockets you'll chain 30. So I'm going to be using this today. So it suggested in the pattern is that it's a 6mm size J crochet hooked, and it was Red Heart with Love stripes. I'm using Red Heart with Love, but it's just a Dusty Grape. So you want to chain in an even number if you are manipulating this on your own, but if you're doing the pockets, chain 30. You're doing the shawl, chain 50. So I'm just gonna do an even number just to show you. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. So 12 is an even number, so I can stop there and it will work out. So get your number done and meet me back here. We'll start row number 1. In row number 1 you're gonna go second chain from the hook, so count it back. So 1 and 2, and do 1 single crochet along the chain all the way back. So it doesn't matter which size chain you have, this is what you need to do. So 1 single crochet in the chain all the way back. Okay, once you have the first row done, you're gonna turn your work, and we're still working on the setup row. So this is kind of setting it up so that we can do the Alpine stitch in a little bit. So we're gonna chain 3 to begin, which will count as your first double crochet. Come into the next one over, and you want to double crochet yourself all the way back across. Okay, so double crochet all the way on row number 2. I'll see you at the end of this row. Now that we just finished row number 2, row number 3 is the start of the repeat. So 3 through 6. Every other row is a single crochet row, so if you just did something fun here other than a single crochet, the next row has to be a single crochet. So you're gonna chain up 1, and you'll do 1 single crochet all the way across. The Alpine stitch jumps over this single crochet row each and every time. So every other row is single crochet. That's how easy it is to remember. So continue along. This is row number 3. So make sure you come into that turning chain at the end for row number 3, and then turn your work, and let's move on to row number 4. In row number 4 you're going to chain 3, counts as your first double crochet, and the next post that's down here is your next stitch. So wrapping the hook once and coming into this double crochet post, so it's the second one from the end, and you're just going to double crochet around that post, pulling it forward. The next stitch is right here. So in here this would have been the next stitch, but this is but this one is covering in front of it. So the next one has to be this one. So it's kind of like the second over, and you're gonna double crochet. This double crochet is being pulled down by this stitch here, so it's causing it to squat, which will then pop out to the front of the work. You're then going to front post double crochet the next post here. So skipping the next one, go to the second. So every other one across is a front post double crochet, and in behind that just covered the next stitch which is there, so you need to go here. Okay, so you see the squatting is happening. So every other stitch, and then the next stitch after it. Okay, and you'll do that all the way across. If your counts are right, the one just before the end is also a front post double crochet, and then the very last one is a double crochet, and that was row number 4. So the next time we do the alpine stitch, we have to then be in between these spots here. So let's turn our work and do number 5. In number 5 you're gonna turn your work, chain 1 and just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches all the way back. Remember I said every other row is single crochet, which this is what that is. Let's meet you at the end and get ready for row number 6. In row number 6 we're going to chain up 3. So we can't alpine in this stitch because it's not ready. We need to alpine in the ones in between. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's the one right here. So the next one has to be a double crochet in the regular row first, and then the next one will then just grab this one. So you don't ever touch the one that is already in the front post from the row below. So then you're gonna go around the next one and that pulls that out, and then you double crochet in the next one after that. So like I said before, the one that has the front post double crochet, it's the one right there. You're just skipping over it because it's included, and then you just keep going every other one as being these front post double crochets, and the stitches in between are just double crochet on the regular row. So it almost looks like a conveyor belt idea. So you're going to notice is that your work will then curl in, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. So the very last 2 stitches are just double crochets on the regular row. So when you turn your work you're going to single crochet, so you'll single crochet your way back, and then when you go to start row number 4 again you'll be doing your alpine on this and this one and this one. So it goes in between just like it shows here. So what I need you to do is repeat 3 through 6 over and over and over, and then what I'm going to do then is that when you come near to the end you wanna finish off by doing rows number 4 and 5 one last time, so then the last front post is coming down on the outside. So I'm just gonna do that now and we'll talk about sizing in just a second. So I'm technically back on row number 4. So this will be the last time I'm gonna go across here, and then I'm going to single crochet back, and then that's done. So for the pocket height you need to get a total of 10 inches. Okay, and then that's where you're gonna stop. So you wanna stop so that's a single crochet row at the top, and with this last row like you see, with the alpine being the second one in. So you'll do that. Then for the shawl, when you're working through that, you need to get to a certain amount of inches, and let's talk about that. And for the shawl you need to get a total of 55 inches before you're done. So if you'd like to make your shawl a little bit bigger you can do so. Just make sure that you always finish off in the same rows in order to make that happen, so you can customize for yourself. So in my case I'm just gonna turn and just do the last row. It's a single crochet row, and then that's it. So for the pocket it's 10 inches, and for the shawl it's 55. So I'm coming into the very end, and this is gonna be it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna demonstrate on how to weave in the ends. So once you're ready you can cut your work and cut it long enough so that you can throw it through a tapestry needle, and you're just gonna go back and forth on the back side of this project 3 times. So just turning it over so that you're on the flat side, and just stay within the stitch work itself, and go once, twice, and 3 times is a charm. So doing the 3 times will allow you to not have your ends coming out. I noticed that people on social media that their ends do pop, but I think sometimes people just don't stick their needle in far enough. So that's what it would look like at this point. So this could either be the pocket or the shawl depending on your perspective. Let's begin, and we're going to start with the edging next. So you will notice is that this has edging. So your shawl, you probably think, okay, it's really not wide enough, but you still have 5 rows of edging to add to both sides of here. So what we need to do is that we need to start off, and we're going to work on the shawl first before we do the pockets. So I'm going to bring back that shawl and I'm going to show you how that's done, and it's actually really quite simple to do as well. So let's begin to do the edge. Let's pretend that my shawl is done. So you have the top edge, the bottom edge, and you have the 2 sides. So in this case it should be about 55 inches in the height, or in the length really. So you want to stay to the right side of the work, so the nice texture will be on the front, the flat side will be on the back, and you're going to want to turn it and then begin to do the side edging. So whatever colors you decided to use, I'm still continuing with my Caron Cakes, and I'm just going to take my yarn and I'm going to start with row number 1. So starting on the side edging, you want to equally space out your single crochets. So it may take you a little bit of practice to do it in order to make that happen. So just attach it to the first one. So just chain up 1 and 1 single crochet, and then equally space out your single crochets working down the side. Stay within the chain work itself. Don't go into like gapping spaces. Okay, so don't grab it by this, grab it by the chain, and therefore it'll look a lot more nicer. If your project is starting to go like this, it means that you're going too quickly, and if it's ruffling out, it means that you're going too slow. So you're just gonna have to find the right balance of equally spacing out. Now I've been crocheting for over 35 years, so I have this kind of in my head already on how far I need to go, but you may have to just practice a little bit just in case that is not working for you. So I'm just kind of roughly looking at it, and I'm just seeing if there's any spots that just look like it doesn't belong, and it should stay flat. So work your way down the edge, single crochet evenly all the way down for the first row, and you have to do this the same on the other side as well. So just concentrate on one side at a time. So when you get to the other side, just look at it, make sure it looks flat, put it on your table or floor or whatever you decide to do. So if you see it doing this, it means you're going too fast, and if it's ruffling out, then it means that you've gone too slow. So just find that equal balance. Let's turn your work and let's begin row number 2. For the second row, chain 2 in this project does not count as a stitch. So when you chain 2, it's just a builder. So concentrate on the first one, and you need to half double crochet yourself all the way back down your row. So half double crochet all the way back down, and I'll see you at the end of this row. This is number 2. So I'm coming up all the way to the end, so half double crochet right to the end, turn your work, and let's begin row number 3. So let's begin. We're going to chain 2. That does not count as a stitch. So in the very first one here, you want to do a front post double crochet. Okay, and then do that again. So each one all the way to the end. The very last one at the end of this row will be just a regular half double crochet. So front post double crochet all the way to the other side, and meet me back here in just a second. This is gonna be row number 3, and then 4 is done the same way. So coming up all the way to the other side, and the very last one will be a half double crochet as I explained before. This is in the turning chain. So row number 4, when you turn it, it's the same thing with what you already know. So just chain 2, and then in the first one do a front post double crochet and do that all the way to the end, and the very last one stitch will be a half double crochet in the turning chain. I'll see you at the end of that row, and then we just have one more row to do after this. So the very last one here, I'm doing a half double crochet, and let's do the final row, number 5. So we can see that here is the texture that's coming up on the edge. So number 5, we're going to chain 2, does not count as a stitch, and we're gonna do a half double crochet back post around each of the stitches going all the way across, and then 1 half double crochet at the end. So we're just going to wrap the hook, and we're coming around the first one, and we're doing this as a half double crochet back post. So this will be nice and tight. So then go to the next one, so wrap and around the back post and pull through. And you'll do this all the way to the other side, 1 half double crochet in the end, and therefore this side would then be complete, and then you'll do the other side in the exact same manner. So I'll see you at the end of this row. So I'm coming to the very end, and 1 half double crochet in the end. I've already shown you how to weave in your ends at this point, so this is it for this, and therefore you're going to do the same thing for the other side. So starting on the other side, right side up, going your back and forth exactly, so you can just look at the time marker of this and then just go backward in this video in order to do the other side. So let's review on doing the pockets, because hopefully you'll have your pockets done already, or you have to do it yet. So once you have both of your edges done, then you're going to want to then get your pocket done if it's not done already. So you need two of them, of course, unless you only want one pocket, and that's up to you. So what we have here is that the pockets are then added afterward. You should know this is sitting flat because I have steamed it in advance. So this stitch naturally wants to roll. So I was seeing somebody complaining about the Alpine stitch actually a few days ago. They were complaining that it just constantly rolls, but if you take a steamer to it or just spray it with some water, let it, and then flatten it with your hands and then let it dry, you can have this. So originally when I started doing this, it was starting to roll because the front post, the double crochets want to pull it like that. So in this case, this pocket here is a different color, and what I would strongly recommend to you is that when you're doing this, and say you want to do carrot cakes, I would sew this section here with the same color, and then when you get to this part of the pocket, just change the yarn and then just finish it with this color, and therefore you'll never see it. So that's something that you may want to consider for yourself. I think with the red heart with love stripes, I think you can get away with that really quite easily, but in this case it'll be really obvious if I'm not using the same color that you see here. So the nice thing about this is that the pockets are really quite easy to put on, and let's just review on how that's done. So for myself, I like to actually sew in this direction. Okay, so I just turned it around so that it's easier for me. So when you have the yarn colors that are matching each other, and technically I would have started here, but I'm just doing a demo today, but I would have started this color going through and through, and then I would then take the other color that you see and then just finish it up, leaving this open. So let's just assume that this is the bottom. So when you go in, you want to go into your pocket itself and just pick up this, and when you put it through, you just want to grab a few fibers on the top. Don't go all the way to the other side. So just a few fibers, and then pop it out the pocket again on the front. Now if you do this right, you should never see this yarn on the other side. So coming into the next stitch or next space, and then just looking at it and just scooping up some fibers, and then come to your next stitch. And that's all you want to do, is then going all the way around in that same motion. So when I look at the back, it doesn't exist. So you're just staying on like a superficial level and just grabbing some fibers in order to make that happen, and then just go into every stitch. So if you decide to skip over anything at the base here, you will have a hole in your pocket. And so that's something that you will want to do for yourself. So this is actually not a hard concept in order to maintain. This is how you apply motifs on anything without having the yarn go to the back side, especially if the color doesn't match. So if it did match, then I wouldn't worry about it so much. You can go all the way through, and that's what it would look like. So that's how you're gonna do that, and you'll get that positioned in, and then what I want to do is to show you how to do the fringe. So I've already shown you how to do the fastening off technique of going back and forth, and so now I'm gonna show you how to do fringe next. So let's review fringe. You're going to want to take whatever colors that you're working with, even if you're using a mixed color, doesn't matter, and you want to take a tape measure and measure out 20 inches. So what I would do is measure out your first one. This is not 20 inches, but just measure out your first one to be 20 inches, and then do your next one like this. Just lay it on top and cut, and do groups. So I like to work on this kind of concept in doing multiple groups at the same time. So then I just move on my table a little bit closer and do a next group of those. So you want to do a total of 3 strands each. So the fringe is actually really quite generous on this, so if you want smaller fringe, then don't make these as long. And let's review on how to attach. So you're just gonna grab up the group of 3 and fold it in half. Now your hook has to come from the back side in order to go. So the fringe is all the way across the bottom of the edge. So starting in the first edge stitch, come from the back and push to the good side, the right side, and then grab the loop and pull through. So you want to pull that enough that you can get your fingers in, and I like to split them and then just put the other pile through. By coming through the back, this here line will appear on the right side of the project. Okay, make sure you grab them all, and so therefore that line is existing on the good side. So the other side, it looks like that. So then that's all you're gonna do. Just continually loop and then go through the next one. So if your yarn's changing color, you will see that happening, and just keep in sequence, I guess, unless you want it to be really random. You could use all the same color, it doesn't really matter either, and therefore you'll just push it through and pull. And what I would do at the end of this project then is take my steamer or spray bottle, and then I would flatten it all out, and then once you have it completely flattened out, so you trust it, because sometimes the yarn can be all wavy, you will want to take your scissors and go up the whole thing. And so look for the shortest strand that you can find. So in this case it's about here, and then you can just safely cut all your yarn, but don't do that until they're all done across. Sometimes what I like to do is just hang it over a table and let it naturally drape, and then just take the scissors and as it's hanging there, and that's something that you can decide for yourself. So this here is the pocket shawl. It's actually really quite a simple idea, and it makes for a great gift, and it's also very comfy for yourself as well. I would take a wet block this, so just dampen the whole thing and then just lay it flat, just shape it, and then it's good to go, and therefore your edging will be done and all your fringe will look good, and then you're completely done. Have a good day, and we hope to see you again real soon right here on Yarn Inspirations, as well as my friends here on the crochetcrowd.com too. See ya.